Let me introduce myself. I am Menesah Kambong. I'm from Atkamba village in the Lower Octari region, Kyonga Rural LG, Northland District. I am married. I've got 4 children. I finished from University of Technology as a mining engineer. And I worked with Porgera Mine, also did some work with Octari, even in mines in Australia, Mara mines in central Queensland. After I worked at Porgera Mine, I left around in 1997 and came to Western Province. Before I came to Western Province, I was working as a watch project director based in Hagen, visiting many remote areas through the churches and the Australian government partnership arrangement. I was the national director for that project for almost a year before I came to Kyonga. When I came to Kyonga, I worked as a district planner for almost 7-8 years. Then they promoted me to be the provincial planner for Western Province. I stayed in that office for maybe 7 years and resigned to contest for election and resigned for public service in 2011, December. Then I was asked to look after the Rural Service Delivery Project for Western Province, which started in Orium OB LLG in Lake Murray and Kyonga Rural as a project coordinator. So we had to set that project up. Through that initial phase, there was only myself that ran the office when rural service delivery was very new. But the good news was that out of the 33 projects that the project decided on, 31 projects were implemented successfully. They thought the Western Province was not going to perform, but Western Province at least performed very well. And because of the Western Province experience and the Central Province experience, that project is extended to 10 provinces in this country. And I want to acknowledge those councillors and leaders in the community that made it happen, and the officers at the Rural Service Delivery, because one of the important policies that I'll be talking about later is ward development. That's where our people live. So that was a little bit about myself. I do my own small business. I have been involved in a ward development program with Atkamba village. In terms of leadership, that's a little bit about my work experience. In terms of leadership, I've been a leader from the community school level. I was a school captain in the community level. I went and occupied leadership responsibilities at high schools. Went to Sogeri National High School. I was the Flyway Students President. Also Pentecostal and Evangelical movement at the time, I was the president. When I went to Unitec, I was also involved in the church organization at the TSF ministry in Unitec as a president for Unitec. Eventually they appointed me to be the national president for TSF Christian Fellowship in the country for 7 years. I was exposed to a lot of those leadership people with various experiences came, and I was able to be mentored by a lot of people. In terms of the other professional group, I was able to be, I was member of the PMT, I was member of the planning team, also with HR organizational structure review team. I'm a member of the tenders board. I was a member of the building board. I'm currently a member of the Alice River Trust as an acting chairman. And there are a lot of various responsibilities, leadership positions that I occupied. I was also involved in school boards as a member of the boards. And with that experience, I see that I can be able to provide the leadership that is required in this province. So that's a small part of my leadership experience. Leadership is not about Sawe. Sawe is just part of one aspect of leadership. It's holistic. Leadership is you as an individual person. So that's a little bit about the work, the education, and my experience in leadership. I want to go quickly to policy. I've been running elections for almost 5 years. A lot of people say, why is Mr. Kambong running? But I believe I have a dream that I wanted to fulfill. Western Province, in terms of human development indicators, is the last in this country. It's the biggest landmass in this country. So the type of leadership we are going to provide must be completely innovative. It must be different style of leadership if we're going to bring change in this place. Our two core issues is corruption and poverty. Corruption and poverty is the biggest challenge for any leader in this nation. Whether it's political leader or it's an administrative leader, that is the biggest challenge that we have. And in the province, I think that for many years we have a lot of these issues that have dragged on and affected our people. And maybe by 2022 we should rise up to the next level. Let me just go, my vision statement is adopted from National Vision 2050. I think it says about, let me read it, what I've written. The Western Province to be wise. We must be able to discern what is right and wrong based on information. Not only that, we should be a wealthy people in this place. We are very rich in natural resource, but we can't convert into wealth. That's been the biggest challenge for us. We should be educated people, very knowledgeable people. And we should be healthy, and we should live in safe or peaceful society. This vision statement is adopted from national planning because that's what is required in the province. And in terms of mission statement, what I'm saying is that because Western Province for last 45 years, we are the last. I am saying that maybe by 2050 or so, we should be rated the #1 province in this country. That means it requires people. They're going to rise from every place and say, we're going to do our part. We're going to cause a change. Change is not coming from one person or a governor, no. Change is going to come from every man and every woman in this province. And so I wrote a mission statement here. Western Province should be or will be ranked as the best province in this country in terms of Human Development Index by 2045. Creating opportunities for personal and provincial advancement through economic growth, innovative ideas, quality service, ensuring a fair and equitable distribution of benefits in a safe and secure environment for all citizens. That means that it's a kind of call for every Western Province people to contribute, because every potential in every man in this province, God and put him inside of man. And that thing needs to be honest. And our dream and those of us who are in leaders must facilitate and create opportunities for that thing to come out from every man and every woman in this province. So what I'm saying is that we should by 2045 or 2050, we should be the #1 performing province in this country. We have the resources to do it, but I think the problem is with our leadership. Core values, our core value of provincial government or national government is our people. Our people is the most important that we have. We sometimes place value on money, but money is not the important thing. The money is just a tool, but human beings is our value. We must value our people. And therefore, when we are providing leadership, we must be honest with ourselves. We must be, from within me, as an individual, I must conduct my life right. And then that's a moral character. Any organization that does not have moral character falls flat. And for this province to rise, we need leaders that carry character and integrity so that we can lead this province and people can believe in us. So that's one of the things. Our core value is our people. Therefore, we must live by our lives. For me to, under this issue of corruption and poverty, I see one of the key issues why our people are living like this is, #1 is a transport accessibility to markets has been the biggest challenge for our people in the province. So under this policy, I have said transport infrastructure development will be one of the #1 priority. I know it's big. The roads in Western Province are over 100 kilometers. We're looking at a huge investment if we're going to bring change. But if that is the cry of our people, we need to invest into the place. In the past, a lot of funding from various sources is tied into health and education, which is also equally important. But I believe we need to invest into transport infrastructure in this province to create opportunity for our people. The improvement in socio-economic well-being of our people will be connected to transport infrastructure. Our people still carry loads. Our people can't even move their rubbers. Our people even cannot bring their barramundi across. And if we can create that accessibility, it will bring a lot of change to our people. So road transport, air transport, and sea transport is important, that the government needs to look within and also prioritize. I have a dream, because of the transport infrastructure, can we establish an organization that will concentrate on this very key agenda of the people? I'm looking at maybe exploring a Flyover Development Authority or something, an organization that concentrates on the transport infrastructure development in Western Province. Like under current government, they elevated agribusiness as one of the important strategy, which is good. Under my leaders, I want to look at transport infrastructure development as a very important agenda, and create an authority or organization that should be able to manage that in terms of construction as well as maintenance. So I want to establish a Flyover Development Corporation, something like that, to able to look at that arrangement, because that's the agenda of our people. There will be an organized, highly professional group that should be able to look after that organization. So a lot of our huge funding from different sources will be brought into that place, and they should be used to develop a lot of this key infrastructure for our people. Under that particular strategy, number 2 is we should look at major financing arrangement that we have, available resources that we have in the province, look after the many organizations. We should bring that money into the province and organize that arrangement, run by independent board, highly independent board, none of political interference into that organization. That funding can be used to put into this key issue that our people have been talking about for many years, 45 years. And that's one of my dreams that I wanted to do, is that administration must begin to, has the administration look at the financing aspects of it. How much money we have from Octeri for next 10 years? How much money we're going to generate from Penyang and from Jua Wells? How much are we going to, can we put together a resource framework and organize that funding, some way of funding to finance this road construction in the province? So major financing arrangement will be immediately organized for our key people to be engaged to look at what we have. Before we can talk about project, we need to organize the financing arrangement. That's BIPLA something, blah, blah, blah. Currently, our financing from MRDC, Octeri, Jua, everything is going and they're sleeping in Mosby. We need to some way move it out of the place and bring it into the province. So that's a major financing, because without money we can't do roads. We've got to organize the money that belongs to us. So I have that thinking within me, and I wanted to do that. I talked about it in last 5 years or 10 years ago. I'm still talking about it, because there's no change that have happened. Another important thing that under this transport infrastructure strategy is to establish a maintenance fund. Transport maintenance fund should be established, so that we don't have got to wait for budget maintenance money. We have money available to do immediate maintenance, so that our roads and our bridges and our airports are up to standard for our people to use. At the moment, we don't have that arrangement in place. Institutional capacity, one of the important areas that we need to look at in terms of transport infrastructure development, institutions that look after the transport sector, like what do you call it? There's equipment set up, every equipment operating in mines and in logging. We are not even collecting tax from those places. We need to begin to polish up those areas. We need to also look at Water Smoke-Craft Act. People are traveling on the dinghies, but their safety of the well-being of the public water transfer is not being monitored. And that's area we need to finance that area, so that the organization responsible must be able to manage that. So that's institutional capacity. Air and river transport for our small people. A policy to be developed to subsidize cost of transport service provided in the province, so that are reliable and affordable for our small people. If there is a boat like Fly Home, why can't we subsidize part of the cost? The government should subsidize, because they provide that service. And a lot of our people, almost 152 villages, 54 villages, live along the river system. So we should look at that option and maybe finance it, or some kind of arrangement for the transport, for the river transport. Another important thing is transport, air transport services to our very remote locations. Some of the project materials are sitting there for many years, many months. It's not been delivered. Books, curriculum materials, medicines are not been flown across those places. I was thinking that we should buy one twin otter plane and attach it to the current share ownership that the provincial government has with Air PNG Air. We have a share ownership in there. Can we buy one plane and give it to them so that these people can manage it for our need as well as for business? And one black thing migat longan. I wanted to, maybe it's around cost around 11 or 8 or 9 or 10 million kina around there. So can we buy one plane and attach it to our program? Because one of the programs that I wanted to introduce is ward development. And if I'm going to move project materials, I need plane available to move those materials across for project implementation. Very big cost from transport and even difficulty in accessibility into province. So, and one black thing migat longan. Number 2 strategy, that's under the transport and Mikaramabin or Sambla Liglik on them area that Mila Karamabin Logan. Number 2, least developed intervention program. These are areas where no government services have gone. Like areas in the Mari Valley, in the upper, into Jua area, at the back of Biami, into Wawoi Fort area, even into Kiwa Islands, right across at the back of Moet, Suki, at the back of Ningrum. Can we have some funding, least development funding, some funding allocated annually so that that money can be used to do some development in that place? So I wanted to do that under the least development program. And so that will be one of the major policy we want to introduce. Another, also attached with very least development areas is the helping One Talk charity program that I wanted to introduce. Is to supply basic things, which will be channeled through the youth, women organization, churches. They can go buy second-hand and go and give it to very people. Some people in the province are naked, they live with nothing. They don't have plates, they don't have cups, they don't have eggs, they don't have knives. Water containers they don't have. And that's kind of a charity organization, but I believe that we need to look after our people. When we are looking after big infrastructure and whatever, but we need to look after our small people. There's nothing out there in the bush. So that's helping One Talk under the least development program area I wanted to look at. Strategy number 3, one of the major important areas I want to do is growth center development. It's been ongoing with the current provincial government strategy. The provincial, district and LG center development has been ongoing. Under our leadership, one of the things that we wanted to do, emphasize is a growth center in the middle fly area between Lake Mari, Suki and Ali and that area. We need to introduce some growth center development around that area to service the very, very remote areas people who have no access to those facilities. Whether we do it as a middle fly district headquarters or we do it as a province headquarters, whatever is good. We need to create that growth center at a higher level so that it can provide services like health, education, high schools or health centers or whatever. So that's one of the areas that I was looking at because a lot of people died in that area. Simple snake bites, people died. They couldn't have access to snake medicine. So that policy will continue to be developed. Border under the growth center, another important strategy is the border development center. There are 4 border development centers in the province approved by the government. But we have not actually literally did any of major development into that area. Mosby is too far. West Papua is the place that we need to go. So we will concentrate a lot of border development in the 3 districts so that we can open up access for our people to do trade into West Papua under the border development center. So that's within our, and maybe possibly in the long term establish an officer based in, a foreign affairs officer based in Morocco so that we can improve trade with the West Papuan people. Number 4, strategy or policy number 4, I'm looking at ward development program. Ward development policy is a very important strategy. I believe the national political parties are talking about it because our people live in the villages. we need to move money and resources into the water development areas. The organic law, intention of organic law is there, but we need to translate it and make it happen by moving resources to our people. Under this program, I wanted to move some funding from the provincial straight into LRG budgets. With that movement, we also moved the treasury functions. Council's chart of accounts should be copied and moved to all the LRGs, and give the council, the ward councillor and the president and his administration to run the government. At the moment, all the LRGs are run down. All the presidents, the LRGs, they are not functioning. I think we need to reallocate that power back to them and give it to them. So, and one big thing, me like moving funding support go along ward. Because our people live in that place. With this, we need to also organize our boundaries of wards, separate the boundaries. And big work stuff, we need to do that. And maybe improve or upgrade this rural service delivery concept, yeah. We need to upgrade that one. And other development partners who are coming and trying to service villages should be aligned to this policy, so that we have only one stop. We can't split our people and bring leadership struggles in the village. At the moment, that's what's happening. There's a lot of resources we are allocated to the village, that's not changed. We need to have realignment of ward development. So we will be able to transfer. With this transfer of energy function, we need to build bank agencies. Under the Economic Development Advancement Policy number 5, I am saying there can be established small to medium enterprise credit facility for our people. One of the important things that our people need is access to finance. Financial service and also finance. So to have access to finance, we need to introduce this credit facility with a bank. This particular facility is not going to be run under the political office. It will run through the bank. So we should get some money from MRDC or this big money from Octeri or Jua and put some money into the bank and arrange for one bank to manage it. And people want to borrow money, they're going to borrow money and they create wealth for themselves. And that's one of the things I want to immediately establish that, because our people are below level. All businesses in this place has been taken over other people. Chinese have taken over a lot of business in this province. Our people have got nothing because of the failure to recognize our people and give some support for our struggling SME. And I wanted to do it in a bigger way. So that's one of my important policy on SME. It will not be tied around Office of Governor, it will be managed by the bank. And we'll sign an agreement with the bank to do that service for us. And all the bank agencies going to be rolled across to all the 14 local level governments. Financial services will be moved down to LRGs, so that they can get a loan from Norman. They don't need to walk all the way to Kionga to get it from here. So the loan officers, some bank officers should be in the LRGs. If it means for us to construct facilities, we must do that. Because that's, and big plus something, that's service. Let me go quickly to food security. Rubber development will continue to be supported whether we do a subsidized freight cost or price subsidy. We need to look at options which is the most suitable arrangement. At the moment, I think the government is doing some subsidy support, which is good because our rubber farmers, that's the only cash crop to our people, and we need to support that program. So that's rubber, and under the also rice farming and beef development in the province should be enhanced. There's large savanna land, grassland in the middle flank. How can we convert that thing? There's a lot of lakes and swamps in the Balim. How can we convert it into agriculture? There's opportunity there. Forestry and people are resource from the province. We need to invest into smaller one, Aga Woods and all this, but in terms of large-scale development, we need to connect with those people that do a sustainable logging. Because of carbon trade business that is coming, we need to recognize carbon trade business as well. There's a huge business that's going to come in the next century. And our policy will support those areas. In terms of some logging business, we must have, what do you call it, PPP, triple P's concept of public-private people partnership arrangement to be introduced, should be promoted so that our people are part of the ownership of the business. So if it is a downstream processing forestry, our people should be, the landowners should be mobilized to buy a business into that, so they are part of the owners of that business. We give that value back to them. And forestry is a very important area. And maybe when the government is formed, the Western Province should ask for a forest minister. They can do our roads. They can build our airstrips, some very big ones, in those forest areas. We just need to talk to forestry and get that thing moving. Forestry can do a lot of things, wonders for our province, because of a huge forest resource that we have. And for Western Province, our team, when our team wins, we will negotiate with government to give us forestry minister. We don't want any other, we want economic ministry to be given to us. And the provincial leadership should look at that. Tourism is a very big industry, but the problem in Western Province is tourism infrastructure is not there to support the industry. And we need to support tourism infrastructure, upgrade airstrips, and maybe in a long term build a bigger international airport here, using the forest sector to do that for us. Maybe build it around Lake Murray and get international flights from Europe into that place. And when they come there, they can visit very important sites, Tonda Wildlife Area, into Wawoi Falls, into Lake Murray Lagoon, the biggest catchment area in the world, in the southern hemisphere. And even to Edinburgh, up there in the mountain, some mountains. They are very special places. But our tourism infrastructure is very low, that's why we can't attract tourism in the province. And one of the things we got long and long, forest company, we will sign an agreement with them so that they can do downstream processing for a growth center, but also we ask them that they will build an international airport for us to get the tourism into the province. There's the fisheries also. We need to support our fishermen in the South Fly. That's an industry that is not untapped. At the moment, the foreigners are coming tapping fishery resource in Western Province. I think, what about our small people? Not only to go and sell, but to own a business. So we should also invest in that particular industry for South Fly. South Fly are fishing community. We need to enhance that community. They have that skills, but then we need to help them to develop it on a business scale. I will go to some of the reviews of the MOA. One of the policy makers, Logan and Mipla, need to review some of the agreements. Some of the agreements that we have with other stakeholders. Even MOUs in relation to some of the funding that's been held. We need to review some of those agreements. With MRDC, we need to review that agreement. We need to look at Octary agreements. The impact of Octary money is already extended to the previous boundaries. Now it's going up to the Key Islands. The coral reefs are being covered by sedimentation. How do we compensate these people is a very important agenda. And we need to discuss with national government to look at giving us additional benefits. PNGSTP, we need to look at PNGSTP arrangement and how do we access that money, because under the current clause, after the mine closure we'll have access it, but I believe that we can still access some money now if we can remove one of the clause in there and change it. And that's one of my agenda I wanted to go in. I had a privilege to talk with late Mekere Morata, and he told me you can do this and have access to almost 100 million kina a year available to the people of Western Province. So that's one of the things that I wanted to go in and maybe call the PNGSTP team and PNG government to review one of the clauses so that we can have access to that funding now, so that we can use that money to do other things. Oil and gas agreements, we need to look at due agreement and finalize that agreement. At the moment, only Nomad LNG signed. Provincial government has not signed into the PNG LNG agreement. We need to look at that arrangement and then make sure that we conclude that arrangement for the benefit of our province. The Penyang has been signed. We need to properly discuss the details of that arrangement. Now at the moment, the pipeline is going to Mosby. They signed into agreement. Is there any possibility that we can negotiate? Our opportunity to take the pipeline to Daro was gone in 2012 with the introduction of port infrastructure development that PNGSC was promoting. Logging operations, we need to review on some of those logging agreements so that our people benefit from that logging operations. Some of them all katim diwai tasona, that's it. They pay them royalties or whatever, but after that there's nothing to show for. No economic development within the logging areas. We need to review those agreements and make sure that our people benefit out of the thing. Not just money. Money is just part of it, but there's also economic impact into that region. We need to look at that. So those under the reviews, it's important. Also, some of these project agreements that we are signing, we need to ask the project agreement to give us a specific clause to the provincial government to take a loan against those projects. Because some of our roads and all these ones are very big costs. And our resources are there. So we need to ask the resource agreements to be with this clause of empowering the provincial government to take a loan. I believe Octavia has got that clause available. So that the provincial government take advantage of that arrangement so we can get some bigger money, or loan money or something, so that we can do some major activities. From the recurrent budget, ain't no big money, big league money. That's why some of these reviews of those agreements, we need to do some of those things. Let me go to integral human development. Just in summary, we will continue to support ongoing health programs according to minimum priority areas. We will continue to support those. We need to make sure that there's medicine in the housing. We must have basic drugs to be in the housing. Our people are not buying medicine. We need to stop that, and we need to make sure there's money. The provincial health authority needs to reorganize itself and make sure that it's functional. Contract specialist doctors. I wanted to arrange for some contract specialist doctors like the Milne Bay and some of the provinces there, where special doctors are tied to district hospitals. Western province is a very big place. We need to have doctors in Balimo and doctors in Kionga. Daru Hospital has got the national government is providing that support. And I'm believing that we can establish some doctors, special doctors in Midufly Ausik na Kionga Ausik. They are paid on contract by the provincial government, because here our people are the most important thing. So contract doctors will be looked at. A rural health and health or CHW incentive scheme. I wanted to introduce a policy where we can look after our CHW workers and also HEOs. A lot of HEOs from district health centers have moved out. There's nothing there. In Nomad or in Osobi, all of them moved out. Only a few are there. But we need to create incentive to keep them there. Whether in terms of pay, in terms of leave-based incentive, whether in terms of the children's school fees, we introduce what is best option to keep and reward those people working in the bush. Maybe also provide a special testing facility for cancer testing. This cancer is already increasing. We need to provide a facility for testing facility. So early, if we can detect it early, that will save a lot of our women. A lot of women having cervical cancers, even breast cancers are increasing. We should maybe provide a testing facility for the province. Maintain upgrade existing health facility throughout the province. That's an ongoing program that we need to maintain. Because I think national health minimum standards have changed, and we need to upgrade some of those facilities. In terms of education, we will continue to support the current ongoing programs. I want to establish a Flariva Education Foundation to look at human development for a long term. That we have a target of how many PhDs that we're going to graduate from the province. How many master's graduates are we going to go? How many first degree, diploma? How many pilots, how many doctors we want to train? We need to have a target. And this particular organization will organize independently. If independent body is going to look after, not provincial government. Provincial government will allocate money to that foundation. So this foundation must run on a business concept, so that they can generate money, they can do business and raise some funding for themselves, instead of depending on private provincial government. So there should be a foundation, independent board is going to run that thing. They should not come to governor's office. Governor's office is not a business for sponsorship program. We are leaders, we provide policy and direction. So I wanted to establish 7 and independent board members will be in that board to facilitate human resource development. Within the next 20 years, I must have enough number of PhD graduates, enough number of master's graduates. So when I need their support, they're there already for me. Right now, we see that Enga province dominates this nation because they've invested into education for the last 20 years or 30 years. And Western province, the power of any province is its educated population. And that's why I wanted to raise I will not follow the previous arrangement of scholarship. I want to have objectives set in place. I want to have number of PhDs that's going to grade. I must target, I must finance it. If it is 200,000 for one candidate, we'll sponsor him. So we are serious in our commitment. And it will be run by independent group. Now we are got Octet is running and a sponsorship scheme under the CMC already. And then we have the MRDC is running another CMC under for water. And then the private sponsor, why can't we put it together as one organization and move that money and sponsor our children who are eligible for sponsorship? So that particular independent group will be, despite of whether you support me or your politics or religion, should not affect any of our children. They must go. Or Karim name blah, blah, blah. I wanted to also establish electronic library e-learning facilities every primary school and secondary school, because knowledge is in the internet. I want to do that one. That's been a dream for me. This fellow can go into a Saksak group house or classroom in Nomed or in Osobibo or in Suki, but the library that they're going is same as the library that an American student goes. E-learning is the way to go, and we need to improve knowledge base in our children. And I want to support in all primary schools and high schools. We must have e-learning facilities established across the province. Rural teachers incentive and one kind of STEM health. Those teachers that are teaching there, we will introduce an incentive program for them to support and recognize the work that they do. Declare one secondary high school to be a school of excellence. Now a lot of our students are going down to Sogeri and other places. I want us to convert one high school, put resources into that place and raise the standard of that particular school of excellence in the province. So our grade 11 and grade 12 students will go within the province. So that school of excellence will be pushed. Also support university center development and some as the Institute of Technology. All university facilities should be supported so that our people can go. Those who are not able to make it through formal to universities, they can access that facility. At the moment, there's other funding. But if we can train a man, educate a man, we can change his life. So university centers will be supported. I'm hoping that some of the Institute of Technology, our university centers will be built before the mine closes. I wanted to talk to Octet people if they can support us to establish a University of Technology in Tabubil as a legacy for Octet mine. And I want them to fund it under mine closure fund. That will be a gift to the people of Western Province. The Mine Closure Planning Committee will be discussed with them to facilitate university, full-fledged university facilities at the sub-mountains in recognition of Octet's service to this nation. Establish a technical college in the province. Some work got Kionga Secondary, Kionga Vocational went, but they haven't completed that process. Me go inside, but me like supporting this stuff so we can convert Kionga Vocational into a full-fledged technical college so that it can look after a lot of field. It will look at plumbing, mechanical, hospitality, business. We can provide it. And I want to support that institution because I believe it will save a lot of people. Technical college should be established in Western Province. Support Girls High School if there is any need to do it. There's some women leaders who are talking about Girls High School. And if there is a need, we should establish and push for that one. Melanville High School in the country performs very well. It's a Girls High School. Establish a new secondary high school in South Fly. A new high school to be built in South Fly. At the moment, more high school being currently done by current government. But we need to build another high school for South Fly and give it to them. In terms of high school and educational state, now the provincial management team is already taken over by North Fly team. There's not many program managers at the PMT from South Fly, also from the Middle Fly. That is because of the investment that we did for education in North Fly 20 years ago. So, and me like working on the new high school of Whipping. And I will give them a full-fledged high school to the South Fly people. In my term of government, I will put that high school as a memory to South Fly people. Because in the past, South Fly people provided a leadership and that to the people of Western Province. There's women and children's issues there. I won't talk a lot on that one. Under the community service program, I wanted to see spiritual development as one of the priority. I want to support spiritual program in the province. Under community women and children's program, currently women's structures is not organized in the province. We will put money to get a women's organization in the province established properly and elect women's leaders that represent into the DDA and into the provincial PEC. At the moment, that is not so. It's politically appointed and that's not proper. I want to complete a women's plan and children's plan that we started a long time ago and has not been completed. Get 14 local level government women's associations established, get the leadership organized, all the way to district DDA boards and into the provincial executive council. That must be formally done. At the moment, it's not done formally. And there are some of their visions for resource centers for the learning association. We need to support that program and make sure that that is done. Number 2 part of community service is a spiritual development, which I want to elevate spiritual development as important as the physical government. Because a lot of our things in the provinces are spiritual, associated with spiritual issues. Under this program, I wanted to support tribal cleansing in this province. Tribal cleansing is important because our belief system from every culture, every tribe is connected into our mindset, our thinking. And witchcraft and sorcery has become a norm of the day. When God made man, He put potential in a man, within a man, not outside. Not into university, those are just enhancement knowledge. But the power to do it is within a man. And this issue has become a very big problem, and a lot of these things have connected into development. Poverty has become ripe because these things have become big. And I'm advocating for a spiritual cleansing program funded by the federal province to support the church to move these things. We need to remove some of those culture statistics hindering our lives, the life of communities and life of the province. We have, even some of us, those are leaders, we have connected to them and we are doing this, but we can't say anything. We have masters, we have PhDs who go in there, but there's nothing happens. It's a spiritual situation. So I wanted to finance that one. And I'll give the church that support to do that. One of the first things I wanted to do. Number 2 is to finance 1/10 church support to all the churches after the church plan is done. I want a spiritual plan to be developed in Western Province. All the churches in the province must align into one dream. One God, one dream. And that's all. So we'll finance the planning of the church in the province. After they do that, we can give them the 1/10 component of the budget. So they can use that funding to do what they need to do. Another major financing I wanted to support is support for financing of evangelism in the West Papua. I had to do this one because there is a connection between Western Province and West Papuan people. And I believe we need to do it. That's what is right. And some support, but supporting this walk long. All churches all go along upside, we will support them. District sporting facilities development will be another important area under the youth and sports. We will develop district facilities. At the moment, a lot of our sports organizations are not connected to the national level. Rugby league is not done in a way that promotes development. It's just entertainment. We need to change that concept. So rugby sevens are there, people are playing, but I think maybe only that one is connected into Mosby. We need to elevate our people by properly organizing these groups. So that's under the community development and good governance. I want to just go quickly. Good governance is the core of everything that happens. Under my leadership, we wanted to support all the boards. Give them proper funding for them to operate. Boards like LRGs, local level government must have conduct 4 times a year. JDPs or DDAs must meet. Provincial Executive Council must meet. Provincial Assembly must meet. And also other groups like provincial boards, such as liquor licensing board must be properly financed to control liquor. At the moment, maybe not many, not much funding is going into this area, so the boards are not functioning. As long as boards are not functioning, the governance system breaks down. That's where you control, maintain and monitor what's happening. We need to also strengthen the physical planning board and then the building type of buildings into our towns and our growth centers. At the moment, everybody is building how we want to build, so because there's no control. And the lack of funding for those boards to operate has been a problem. We need to also, under the governance program, review the Western Province corporate plan and address the key weakness in the internal systems of the provincial government. We must finance it. We have plans that's been written, I don't know, 10 years ago. but did we finance that plan to strengthen the government systems? And we need to review that. When I go in, I will ask them to ask the administration to review the plan, and we need to finance that plan. 5-year strategic plan, 2023 to 2025. Current plan will be reviewed, updated, assess the performance of it, and where we need to change, we will change. But there will be a continuity in the plan. We won't bring in another plan. We will have what we have, and we will continue to build from them. I don't believe in leadership that goes and changes the plan. I believe in maintaining and upgrading the plan. So that will be done in the first 2 months or 3 months, so that we align into what we wanted to do. Another way to limit corruption in the organization, I want to rotate officers. Every 3 years, officers from North Fly will go to Middle Fly will go to South Fly, South Fly will move across to North Fly. We must rotate. In the past, they did that. So we wanted to do this. So there's a rotation of funding for rotation of officers will be done. Reorganization, realignment of organizational structure. We need to realign. Now with the new electorates that have come in, we need to reorganize ourselves. And big block work. But that's one of the things that we will, and those who will support that area. Reorganization of the structure so that we can accommodate for hydrocarbons project that's coming in. We need to organize that structure properly so they can respond to the current needs that's happening. We've got to create a district headquarters for Middle Fly, Lake Maria and Nomad. We need to create that one and make sure there is a district administrator and his team. There is a place that they want to develop a new infrastructure for that new district. It's a huge responsibility. So we'll have that policy also into this thing. Yeah. Construction of government MPs and president's official residence. I want to promote leaders staying in the province. At the moment, all leader man sablo mospi na mibla panimol. If the leader is not in the province and just the office, and mibla go wrong. So be like working house block, official residence block governor, 4 open members of parliament, all the president's houses I want to build when I'm in the office, so that they can stay and look after their people. They are elected by our people and they should stay with their people. Law and order, we will support ongoing programs like village court, CIS, police. One of the important, jail project that CIS said we were not able to do that. The land is acquired, we can counter-finance with other donor organizations, we can do that. The land mediation program, we need to complete a lot of resource disputes at the moment. We need to attend to it, complete the program. Properly finance that program and complete that project. Some of these things are ongoing. Some of the police houses are run down. We need to carry out a major maintenance program for a lot of our officers' accommodation. Not only police, but also public servants. Energy. Auxiliary power staff. I am sorry for Daru Island. I was thinking of reviewing an agreement with the PNG Power so that auxiliary power can go down to Daru and operate. There's something I'm thinking that's all. If we can negotiate and take over, because Daru people have been suffering. Operations on business and government, everybody down there has been affected for many years. What is the best option? So we need to attend to that option once and for all and deal with it and complete it so that our people have access to power 24 hours a day. There's other areas, but I won't mention it. ITC, telecommunication service. Currently there's some work done. Western Province Information System, and the digital towers is there. How do we make maximum use of those arrangements? We need to look at those options. I want to establish a provincial information management system as one of my important priorities because data is important. In the long term, there might be a carbon trade business that will come. We need a GIS facility to capture boundaries of land and huge forest areas. These are important for our people. We don't have that facility, we can't have our people. So that's some of the, I'm just touching on the key areas of the area that I'm looking at. With that, thank you. Those are some of my thoughts, my thinking that I've been studying for the last how many years? Almost 25 years. Thank you.
You have your dream, that's all you see. And don't let anybody tell you that it can't be. No, don't give up. Yes, you might fall.